Here's my outline. Alright, close your eyes and imagine you're driving down Highway 50 or maybe Highway 80 stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic. As you get closer to downtown to go hang out with your friends, you start to see a thick layer of smog hanging over the city. By the time you get to your parking spot, you've got a headache. By the time you get back to your parking spot, your car's been hit, and you have a ticket. Okay, I know that's a little bit of hyperbole, but still, you get the point. Driving is annoying. But in our society, you can't get around it. Our car-centric society is environmentally and socially destructive. It hurts the environment, it hurts people's health, and it hurts our communities. So how do we solve this? We need to advocate for more public transportation, and we need to start riding the bus. Car-predominant societies are objectively terrible for the environment and the health of society. Firstly, they are polluting and damaging to the environment. According to a research report written by Shams Karatalian and Mahmoud Khawaja for the World Health Organization, the most major source of ozone pollution in the world is personal vehicles. According to this study, ozone, which causes, quote, irritation and inflammation of the eyes, nose and throats, and lower airways, coughing, sore and scratchy throats, uncomfortable feelings in chest, reduced lung function, end quote, and many other sicknesses, including bronchitis, is in large part caused by car emissions. According to the same study, they said, quote, the majority of emissions which make up ozone come usually from car exhaust, end quote. So objectively, cars release this ozone into the environment, which can cause extremely damaging effects to humans, health problems, other things like that. It can also damage the plants and the trees where this ozone gets trapped, preventing photosynthesis from occurring. This is especially poignant in Sacramento, where we have terrible air most of the year. According to the American Lung Association's State of the Air report on California, which is a peer-reviewed report that would rate counties on a grade from A to F in terms of the air quality, Sacramento got an F for both ozone levels and particulate matter in 2024. This is extremely caused by cars and is hugely problematic because of the many highways that surround our city and our county. Cars also cause extreme social inequality. According to a social equity analysis of the U.S. public transportation based on job accessibility, which is written by A.J. and al., and was published in 2018 for the Journal of Transport and Land Use, which is a peer-reviewed journal that is leading in the world in terms of providing equitable transit as well as equitable land use for the world. They studied this, and they studied generally the accessibility to jobs for people based on transportation, and then they isolated it to one race, white people, to see if it was a difference between economics or more between racial groups. They found that it was both. They found that, quote, access to quality public transportation is critical for employment, especially for low-income and minority populations, end quote. These populations may not be able to afford a car. Cars are very expensive and they're depreciating assets. They have car problems and they cost gas. You have to pay for gas. Because of this, a lot of people can't really afford to maintain a car for very long. This limits their scope of how far they're able to go for work and for enjoyment. Additionally, according to the same study, quote, people of color in underserved communities have been segregated, displaced, or discriminated against, end quote, because of how the highway system has been developed. This highway system divides communities and keeps low-income communities low-income by keeping them trapped in the same geographic region for long periods of time. This is extremely negative. So, in conclusion, the cars are very negative for the environment and the health of individuals, as well as the social fabric of the community, as they keep low-income communities low-income and limit the opportunity for upward mobility. So, how do we solve this? Well, increasing the public transportation. A great case study to provide a framework for us on how we can do this is Hong Kong. And a great study that shows this framework is the Managing the Accessibility on Mass Public Transit, the Case for Hong Kong, which was written by author Hong K. Lo et al. For the Journal of Transport and Land Use, which is the aforementioned journal. So, how did Hong Kong increase their transportation system from essentially nothing in the 1950s to the best in the world today? Well, firstly, they taxed cars to disincentivize the use of cars, and then they increased the cooperation with businesses to incentivize them to invest in the public transportation system. So first, they put a tax on cars, which was, quote, roughly 35% to 100% of the vehicle cost, end quote. This reduced the use of cars to around 50 people out of every 1,000 people having cars. This is much lower than the US, which is around 500 per 1,000 people. This made people more reliant on the public transportation system, increasing the ridership and increasing investment. They also provided subsidies for companies, which, quote, made them, quote, strive for the utmost operating efficiency and continuous service expansion for business growth, end quote. It was profitable for them, so they wanted to make the transportation system as good as possible so more people would ride and pay them fares. SAC could do something similar. Tax the cars. When people buy a car and try to register it, tax it. Not only would this disincentivize car buying and increase the use of public transportation, it would also give you more funds to invest in public transportation. Secondly, we need to reallocate funds. Currently, according to the California Legislature's Nonpartisan Fiscal and Policy Advisor Report, which was published on October 16th, 2025, Caltrans receives $16 billion in funds each year. If this is spread across each county equally, that would be around $278 million per county per year. So what does Caltrans do? They put this into the same 50 feet stretch of freeway on Highway 50 year after year after year. I'm joking. That's hyperbole. They do use it to construct more freeways and expand freeways. However, if we were able to reallocate this to train use, we could build about 1 mile of rail each year, and it would be even more extensive if we could apply that instead to buses. This would not be a futile or a basic effort. It would also actually increase the health of the environment as well. According to a study created by Philip Weinberg for the Environmental Law Journal, which is a journal associated with Lewis and Clark Law School, it would, quote, benefit air quality and help traffic flow and reduce the need for costly highway and bridge construction and rebuilding, end quote. Not only would it increase the quality of the air, it would also increase economic and social cohesiveness. According to a study written by Maria Demura for the Union of Concerned Scientists, which is a nonprofit committed to people and the planet, it would, quote, provide job training, create good jobs, engage in communities in a robust stakeholder process, end quote. People would buy into it, and you can too, by going to your local city council meetings and demanding more rail and public transportation. You can also incentivize them to put more investment into it by riding public transportation yourself. And then we also need to tell them that we want them to tax people for buying cars to disincentivize car usage. So now imagine that instead of being stuck in traffic for 45 minutes on your way to downtown Sac, you can just hop on a bus and take a train and get down to Sac within 45 minutes. Instead of having to worry about parking or getting towed, you can now just walk around and then get back to your train whenever you want to. Not only this, you have cleaner air in your lungs, more money in your pocket, and expanded opportunities for yourself and for the marginalized communities that have been trapped by our highway system. Instead of being islands of suburban sprawl, we'll be a connected community of neighbors that works together for the public good. So, in conclusion, our current system is environmentally and socially dangerous as it, one, releases ozone into the environment and particulate matter, reducing the quality of life for people in the city, and it also socially destroys and economically divides people, economically depriving underprivileged communities who are not able to get out of the area because of the reliance on cars. So, how do we stop this? 1, car registration tax to disincentivize using cars. 2, reallocate funds from highways to railways and to bus lines. And 3, make it affordable and efficient by incentivizing businesses to invest in it by riding it ourselves. So, imagine again, do you want to be trapped and exhausted in traffic for the rest of your life? Do you want to choke on smoggy air for the rest of your life? If your answer is no, as I hope it is, then you need to contact your local officials, ask for action to expand and improve public transportation. Ride the bus and light rail, don't be scared of it. Experience the freedom of a careless and carless life, and I promise you, you'll never want to go back. Thank you.